What is something considered polite but makes absolutely no sense and helps no one? Not telling someone they have X in their teeth or Y on their face or Z hanging from their nose. Ignoring issues because it requires uncomfortable conversation. Not calling someone a liar when they are definitely lying. Delivering important information in an obfuscated way. Bunch of small talk and indirect niceties to hint around a problem instead of clearly identifying an issue and potential solutions. Surrendering right of way when you have it. If you're a pedestrian at a crosswalk and a car stops, do not wave them through. Right of way exists so that everyone moves in a predictable manner. When you surrender it, you are creating an unpredictable and potentially dangerous situation. I had a corporate job, selling phones, about a decade ago, and some bigwig from corporate comes and visits my store. The visit was fine, but then he asks for local nearby restaurant recommendations on his way out. I follow him out the door and I point in the direction of the nearby sandwich shop, and he looks distraught. That place makes the best hot sandwiches in town, everything is homemade, etc. Then I point in another direction. There's several fast food joints down there, as well as Applebee's and Buffalo Wild Wings. He looks really uncomfortable. Is there something wrong? I ask him. It's just, you really shouldn't point, a lot of people would consider it rude. It's rude to point at landmarks when giving directions. Yes, I thought everybody knows it is rude to point. I'm honestly surprised nobody ever taught you this. This is when I realized that it doesn't take actual intelligence to move up in the corporate world. I continued to point at a few more restaurants just because, despite the fact that he was my superior, I felt like I needed him to know just how stupid I thought his interpretation of the actual rule was, that being, don't point at people. The world of toxic positivity. The people who are always positive no matter what and tell you to look at the positives of any situation. This Friday, July 5th, will be the 4-year anniversary of losing my wife, 41 at the time, to cervical cancer. When she died, I had the positivity police telling me that she'd want me to be happy and not to mourn, she's in a better place, etc. It was like I wasn't allowed to be sad. If I can give one piece of advice to anyone going through something, be it grief, depression, or anything else, you have permission to feel all of your feelings. This includes things jealousy, bitterness, anger, resentment, and everything else. Emotions are what make us human, and the eternally positive people are some of the most toxic people on the planet. They make you feel like you are a bad person just for having negative emotions. Don't speak ill of the dead. If they sucked in life, they still suck. It gets me extra because this is often said to me by someone who is asking questions about the dead person. Don't ask me about my abusive mother, then try to silence me when I answer truthfully. FFS. Polite refusal of anything where the refusal isn't real, it's just meant to be followed with a polite insistence and then eventual acceptance. You want another slice? Oh no, I couldn't. Please, I insist. Oh, alright, if it's really okay. All it does is serve to muddy the waters. It makes it hard for the person offering to know if it's a real refusal or just a polite one. Especially if it's something that can go for multiple rounds of back and forth before acceptance. Much better to just get rid of that system and take answers as straightforward, no means no regardless of context, in other words, and do our best to remove whatever stigma or bizarre sense of greed is attached to accepting without being fake pressured into it. Telling someone to stay positive when they're going through a tough time, it's well-meaning but can feel dismissive. Not talking about your salary. Although it does benefit exactly one person, your employer. But everyone should talk about how much they earn so they can compare with others at their same level. If employers are severely underpaying someone, they should know, or they should know the reason why. Holding open a door too soon and forcing that person to run to you. Insisting on helping a disabled person when they've already said no. Face with rolling eyes. I will ask for help when I need it, and imposing just so you can do a good deed is not okay. In fact, there have been times when it has actually been harmful. To be clear, it's okay to ask if you see me struggling with something, just respect my answer. Stopping to let someone in from a side road when traffic is going at a steady pace already. Waving someone else to go at a stop sign when it's not their turn. Both cause confusion and are dangerous. Not polite and makes no sense. Elbows off the table. Forcing children to accept hugs or other physical contact from others, especially adults. It teaches children that their consent does not matter and that they have to tolerate unwanted physical contact to be polite. I don't care if it's rude to pull away from grandpa who wants to hug you, or the auntie that likes to give tickles. Consent is not a matter of manners. Asking each other how we are casually as a hello without the time and place to really listen. Sorry about the mess. Waving other drivers through when you have right of way. The Pittsburgh left. It might be in other cities too, but I've only heard it called the Pittsburgh left. Basically, it's letting someone making a left turn when the traffic light switches even when the cars going straight have the right of way. It helps the person making the left, I guess, but is also dangerous in quite a few ways. Not just saying where they want to eat but then saying not to everything you suggest. Being offended when someone holds the door open for you. I don't see it as condescending to me, F of a certain age, and I hope you guys don't see it as emasculating. Here in Brazil, saying a simple no when you don't want to do something is worse than manslaughter. When someone else arrives at the four-way stop before I do but they sit there and wait on me to go first for some reason. Refusing to just outright say things like I am interested in you, or I'm tired of being social, can we wrap this up, or anything like that. Apparently the polite thing to do is dance around and hint at things, and if they can't figure out what you want, it's their fault for not getting the hint or reading the room. Unsolicited advice. Not telling your loved ones the truth. Sure, it might hurt their feelings to tell them their new favorite slang might be offensive. But not telling them will be letting them go out and embarrass themselves, and potentially get hurt. But everyone is so afraid to hurt someone's feelings, that they'll let that person hurt themselves before they try and stop them. Saying no offense then immediately saying something offensive. Everything happens for a reason, oh do fuck off. Saying hey, how are you doing, while both sides are fully aware that no one cares. Saying bless you or literally anything after a sneeze. A resume cover letter. It is supposed to look better because you spent extra time doing something unnecessary. Sending your thoughts and prayers. Asking about the status of a job hunt. I will let you know. Hats. The weird thing with having to remove hats in specific situations. Respecting elders as a sweeping generalization. Some definitely do not deserve it, and surviving to adulthood and beyond doth not mean you earned respect. Two variations of the same theme. God doesn't give us crosses that we cannot bear. It's God's plan and we have to figure it for ourselves. Not debating faith and its relevance here. Even for people of faith, those statements are incredibly dismissive, lack any sense of empathy, and basically say suck it up and move on. Most of the ways people respond to someone grieving, I promise, they are in a better place, is not helpful. Waiting for everyone at a restaurant table to receive their food before anyone can eat. The food gets cold for who gets served first and the people waiting for theirs feel embarrassed and guilty like it's their fault no one else can eat. It's lose-lose for everyone. Writing thank you notes when you already thanked the person. Elbows off the table when you eat never made sense to me, but I do it because everyone else does. I guess you do kind of look like a prisoner guarding his biscuit. Especially if you use your fork more like a shovel.